观众朋友，大家好，欢迎收看本期的最佳方案。人们都说眼睛是心灵的窗户，确实，眼睛的健康呢，对人的生活影响是相当的广泛。但是很多人可能不知道，眼睑的健康对眼睛是至关重要的。眼睑是什么？眼睑的失衡会给眼睛造成什么样的影响呢？那么今天我们很荣幸地邀请到两位嘉宾，那就是美国的 ocusoft 公司的两位副总裁特洛伊·史密斯和乔治·海尼斯，来给大家介绍有关眼睑健康方面的知识。ocusoft 是美国最早从事眼睑健康产品开发生产的企业，目前已经有30年的历史。公司的系列眼睑健康产品市场占有率在美国占据第1位。
Well, the eyelid is very important to the overall ocular health because the tear film is made up of several different layers, actually 3 distinct layers, and 2 of those layers are produced by glands which are in the eyelid. So you have the outer part of the eye, which is the upper and lower eyelid, and in the upper eyelid and lower eyelid you have the meibomian glands, and these glands produce oil which makes the outside layer of the tear film, the protective layer of the tear film. After that, in the upper eyelid, there's also a lacrimal gland. And the lacrimal gland is responsible for producing the middle layer of the tear film, known as the aqueous or water layer. And so proper eyelid hygiene and proper eyelid function are critical to having an eye that's healthy. So the third layer of the tear film is known as the mucus or mucin layer of the tear film. And this one is produced on the surface of the eye, the cornea. It's produced by goblet cells on the cornea which secrete a mucus. Now each of these layers has a distinct purpose. So the mucus layer of the tear film causes the aqueous layer to stick or to adhere to the eye and to spread evenly. The middle layer, the aqueous layer of the tear film, is responsible for producing moisture and also helping the eye to wash away debris. And then finally, the outside layer, or the lipid layer of the tear film, is responsible for creating a protective barrier of oil that prevents the aqueous layer from evaporating. And so all 3 of these layers working together help to keep the surface of the eye in good health.
The eyelids are an extremely important part of the eye itself and eye health. Many of us don't think about our eyelids being an important part of the eye. Every time we blink, pressure is exerted and the lipids are then expressed and strung across the outer eye. That is the outermost layer of the tear film. The lipids are the oils. The aqueous is produced by the lacrimal glands. And then, of course, the cornea and epithelium have goblet cells that produce the mucin, which is the third innermost layer of the tear film. So all those 3 layers of the tear film have to be in balance for us to have a normal tear film and not have dry eye.
Well, the outer structure of the eye mainly consists, like I said, on the outside of the eye is the eyelids. Now, after that, you have the epithelium, which is a thin layer of skin that covers the eye, and then there's the cornea, and then inside of that is the pupil. Now, the cornea is very important because the cornea determines how well a person can see. So depending on the shape of the cornea, that determines whether you're nearsighted, you're farsighted, whether or not you have an astigmatism, or if your vision is 20/20. Well, the cornea doesn't change. Oftentimes, most of the time, it can change if there's a traumatic event, but most of the time, the cornea shape is something that you're born with. So just like some people are born and they have, they're farsighted or they're nearsighted, in some cases an irregular shaped cornea. So rather than being perfectly round, maybe it's a little more oblong, like a football. That would create an astigmatism. So these shapes don't necessarily change over time, but there are things that people engage in to change the shape of their cornea. So if you think of a LASIK surgery, so a LASIK surgery actually changes the shape of the cornea to cause a person who was previously nearsighted to be able to see 20/20.
So I think the eyelids are extremely important in ocular health or eye health. Many times as we're growing up and our parents are teaching us to wash and cleanse our face, they tell you not to cleanse the eyelids or your eyes because you get soap in your eyes. So therefore you kind of grow up not making sure you don't cleanse your eyelids. The problem with that is as we age, our bodies change and oils do build up, and as those oils build up, we can have blepharitis or get blepharitis. And blepharitis is simply an inflammation of the eyelid itself. It looks, there's redness involved, there's flakes, there's scales, there's crust, and left untreated and becoming severe, it can also be bacterial in nature and also Demodex related, or Demodex mites can set in. So it's extremely important to keep your eyelids healthy. It's much like brushing your teeth. You want to do it daily. You want to cleanse your eyelids daily just like you brush your teeth daily to help prevent any type of bacteria or any type of inflammation of the eyelids. If you're cleansing your eyelids daily, then what will happen is you will have good ocular health as well. So your glands can secrete oils more effectively. Your eyelids, there's no debris or oil falling into the tear film.
确实，我们从小一定会洗脸，但是洗眼睛总觉得眼睛这么娇嫩，不会洗出什么问题吧？主要是这样的担心呢，使得很多人对洗眼睛望而却步。我们在采访中了解到 ocusoft 公司的系列产品当中有一款湿纸巾，专门帮人每天清洁一下眼睛，轻轻一擦，眼睛就可以清洁，很有意思。
Ocusoft Lid Scrub Original is a surfactant, a mild cleanser. It's non-irritating to the eyes and eyelids. You cleanse this daily to help remove excess oil, debris, and desquamated skin from the eyelids. It's simply a rinse, scrub formula, and then rinse it off with water.
So the two types of blepharitis are known as the two most common forms of blepharitis are known as seborrheic and bacterial. And so seborrheic blepharitis is usually associated with redness, irritation along the lid margins, but also crusting and scale-like flakes along the lid margins as well. Now, when we talk about bacterial blepharitis, in addition to the symptoms that we just mentioned, there will be a mucus-type secretion around the lid margins and the eyelashes, and in some cases, the eyelashes themselves will fall out or will come out. And so patients are really experiencing much more redness, swelling, and then the matted or scattered lid margin features. So dry eye syndrome, it occurs whenever there's an excess or deficiency in any one of the three layers of the tear film. So there could be too much of the oil layer or too little of the oil layer, or too much of the aqueous layer and too little of the aqueous layer being produced. So any imbalance in the tear film is known as dry eye syndrome. Now that may sound a little strange because there are cases where a patient is suffering from dry eye syndrome even though their eye is watering excessively. But in general, it's an imbalance of any one of the three layers of the tear film.
Yeah, so symptoms are kind of dry, scratchy, irritated eyes, redness, burning sensation. Sometimes that's patients that are symptomatic like that, they're considered a dry eye patient. Eyes watering, excessive watering. It sounds counterintuitive. Some people don't think it's dry eye when their eyes are watering, but their eyes are watering because the oil layer or lipid layer is not intact. So it's not keeping that aqueous layer intact. So therefore, the outer layer of the tear film becomes more water-based. So you tear all day. So excessive tearing is also considered dry eye. So symptomatics or symptoms should be excessive tearing if it's evaporative dry eye, scratchiness, redness, irritation, foreign body sensation for dry eye patients. So in some patients, Demodex is a mite that's found on our bodies. Demodex love oil, so they are in the sebaceous glands of our hair or our hair follicles. Because our meibomian glands secrete oil, and our eyelashes are right on the meibomian glands, the follicles of the lashes are right on the meibomian glands. The Demodex mites love to burrow themselves into our lower eyelids, and because it's full of oil. Now, normally the population is under control and it doesn't cause problems. Sometimes when the patients have blepharitis and there's excessive oil that's being produced, the base of the eyelashes will form a collarette. And it will, doctors will recognize that as Demodex infestation. So we have a line of eyelid hygiene cleansers, we have a line of artificial tears, we have a line of supplements, we also have a line of skincare products. We have skincare products that are our Zoria line of skincare products that are available for the eyes, the eyelids, and use around those for sensitive eye patients.
Well, diet can be very important. So most of the solutions that we've talked about take a symptomatic approach, meaning treating the oil that's on the lid or treating the inflammation. So diet is one of the ways in which there's a systematic approach to curing some of the symptoms. So one of the key factors in diet is the intake of omega-3s, particularly omega-3 and an omega-6 combination in the proper balance. So we do offer a supplement, two supplements, one known as the retained OM3, which is a fish oil supplement, or retained flax, which is a flaxseed oil. And the purpose behind these is that by maintaining a proper balance of omega-3 and omega-6 in our body, it helps to produce the proper consistency of oils, which will ultimately help to increase the oil production and reduce the symptoms of evaporative dry eye. Omega-3 it's not necessarily antibacterial, it's to help promote the proper secretion of oils from the meibomian glands. Omega-6 it's another type of fatty acid, and oftentimes when used in the proper combination with omega-3, it helps to make the supplement tear specific. So omega-3 fatty acids are used in a wide variety of treatments. They're used for heart health, various healthy things, but by combining the omega-3 and the omega-6, you're able to make it tear specific to improve your ocular health. So there are several naturally occurring omega-3s. Most commonly it's found in fish. One of the issues though is that in the United States, fish is not a large part of the typical diet. And so because we're not taking enough fish, there needs to be some supplement to help promote that part of our body to function properly.
看来多吃一些鱼类的产品对保护我们的眼睛也能够起到一定的食疗作用。我们非常感谢 ocusoft 的公司给我们介绍这么多的有关眼睑的知识，让我们了解了眼睑的作用以及常见疾病、治疗方法和食疗的方法。我相信呢，观众朋友也一定是收益多多。好的，感谢您收看我们今天的节目，我们下期节目再会。